What's up, guys? It's Rob here. Welcome back. We are driving not to the gym, but to the bank. And then we're going to the gym. We're just going to stop at the bank on the way. We're going to deposit some money in the business account. And it's actually a kind of stupid thing what I've got going on with this bank account. It's a second account for the business. And I figured that it would be useful to have two different accounts at two different banks to help keep things organized. I could collect revenues into one account and then put away some money in the second account to keep for taxes and stuff. But so far, we haven't actually launched the product yet. And so far, this account, all that it's done is collect a monthly fee from me for the bank. So we're depositing some more money in it so it can continue doing that for us. Bank accounts are the biggest ripoff. I mean, bank accounts are horrible. They're charging me $16 a month to have this account open. And I mean, it's providing very little value. At this point, I just figure I may as well keep it open instead of closing it and then opening it up a couple months later. But bank accounts are horrible. They're providing no interest, hardly. I mean, it's a checking account and they're providing hardly any interest at all. Basically nothing. And I'm thinking about, some brokerage accounts that I have that just pay way more interest and don't even charge a monthly fee to have the account open. Like my Robinhood account, there's no monthly fee required to have that account open. And I do actually pay $5 a month to upgrade my account to gold status, but that lets me get a higher interest rate. Now I get, I think, 5.25% interest on any cash that I just have in the brokerage account. And that more than makes up for the $5 monthly fee that I'm charged to have that privilege. So, I mean, I don't know what banks are, how they're able to get away with this. I honestly don't know why I'm using this bank. It's Bank of America. And, I opened up my main account at Chase and my second account at Bank of America, but I'm considering closing it. And if I find a better alternative to this, then I will. It's just that these banks are so well established and they've got well-developed apps that you can use to track all the money in your account and easy to open up credit cards, and they're well recognized, and they do have physical locations, which I'll say is a big plus. I mean, to actually get like cold hard cash, which is what I'm about to deposit into this bank account, into a Robinhood account. I mean, you have to kind of deposit it in person at some kind of bank. I guess there are ATMs that could accept it. But I always like going in person, handing it to a person, getting a confirmation slip and everything, not dealing with an ATM. I've never had a bad experience, but something about using an ATM, I don't like. I don't know. It's always better, in my opinion, to go to a person. And I guess they do have to pay for that somehow. And so these monthly fees are doing that in part. But to be fair, just the fact that I'm letting money sit in the bank account is a big boon to these banks, considering the fact that they're not really paying any interest to me, right? They just get to have that money and they get to do whatever they do with it and earn interest on it and loan it out. And meanwhile, not pay me any interest. I feel like that on its own should be enough to justify, letting people have a bank account. I feel like if there was a bank that had physical locations that offered, no fee bank accounts, I would have used them instead. It's just that, around here, my options were Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, and, there's a couple others, PNC. And, I've tried using all of these. I believe all of them have these monthly fees. Chase does, I know. Bank of America, I'm about to deposit money to pay the monthly fee or so that the monthly fee can keep getting taken out. And, that's just the way of things right now, it seems. It seems like the online banks are able to offer much better deals. I know that, Robinhood, it's not technically a bank, but it is a brokerage. And I've just been so pleased with the quality of service. I know that they did have a little debacle way back when with GameStop and AMC, and they stopped trading on a couple of stocks. And, surely they're not probably the absolute best brokerage out there, but they're pretty reasonable in terms of their pricing. I've only really benefited from using Robinhood. I've not actually myself been, in too noticeable of a way been hurt. I mean, maybe there's some stuff going on behind the scenes. I know that was a big deal 2 years ago. People were really upset about how they stopped trading on GameStop and AMC, and that did happen. But overall, my experience with Robinhood's been very positive. I've felt that they've done a good job of not taking money directly from me, but maybe monetizing me in other ways. Payment for order flow, that kind of stuff, which some people say is worse than just paying for the service, but it hasn't hugely hurt me. I mean, oftentimes I wasn't doing really rapid scalps or day trades or anything back when I was day trading. And, the payment for order flow probably didn't affect me that much. Mostly what I would do was swing trade. And honestly, for what I was doing, it didn't really matter if I got in, at a cent higher on like a $50 stock. It doesn't really matter if you end up paying an extra cent per share, just because the payment for order flow is going on. So I feel that, for me, Robinhood's been a really great move. All those online brokers and, M1's another great example. I've been very pleased with them as well. I use that for more of like a long-term, just never touch this money, let it sit there. I created a basically not really my own ETF, but essentially, what you could look at and say, it's basically your own ETF. It's just a bunch of stocks that are in a pie that you've said, I want this percentage of this company, a certain percentage of this company, and it automates the process, right? You put money in the account, it automatically buys, however many stocks you've set up for it to automatically buy. And then, that's my long-term, just like throw money in there, don't look at it, don't think about it. And there it is, at the end of the day, if I ever were to need it. So that's what I'm doing with M1. And I feel like they're another great example. There's no monthly fee that I pay. I've got a credit card with them. There's no monthly fee for that. And I've just been really pleased with these online services. And, it makes sense. They're able to cut costs by not having these physical locations. They can have far fewer employees because they don't need, there's no bank teller. There's no one taking there's no one to take your money in person. And they're kind of piggybacking in a way off of the physical banks like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, where, I can go deposit money into those banks and then just transfer them to these online services. So to be fair to the physical bank locations, I do understand that, they have these kind of fixed costs that they just have to pay for one way or another. I mean, they still make plenty of profit, but it is kind of understandable that they aren't quite as good a deal, in my opinion, as some of the other online services, just because, it makes sense. Their costs are going to be more. And, that's a fair thing. I really shouldn't hate on them too much for it, but every time I have to deposit money to pay those online fees or to pay those monthly fees, I get kind of salty about it. So that's what we're about to do. We are about to pull into the parking lot right here. And that was brief. That was only, 8 minutes? It was a shorter ride to the bank than to the gym. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.